Welcome to Kave Kineticz, created by the Kaleidoez team. We get one creator, ask them a handful of questions and give the information back to the people.
What is your stage name, if you have one? How old are you and where are you from?
Okay, so my stage name would be like Sketchbook of Shadows, but my real name is Eibhé. It's just spelled weird. And I'm 17. I'm from Dublin, Ireland.
What type of creative are you? So obviously there's different types: bakers, dancers, artists. Which form would you say that you are in the most, and are there any that you sometimes are part of?
My main focus is digital art. I consider myself to be mostly like a digital artist or a digital illustrator, but I do like baking a lot. I do bake from time to time.
How long have you been a creative for, would you say?
I know it's a pretty basic answer, but mostly my whole life, because I was drawn just to art naturally for the longest time. I started taking it seriously around 7 years ago, I think, in February, 7 years ago.
What helped you to begin your creative journey, would you say, or who inspired you?
I wouldn't say a specific person, but anime, I always watched a lot of Studio Ghibli films when I was growing up, and that kind of inspired me. It's kind of the way I wanted my art to move in the direction towards a manga style of drawing, or a Japanese version of Japanese style of drawing, but it kind of it went off the opposite way.
What kind of things would you want from it, or would you want them to produce for creative people?
I think in a way produce having their community is kind of more like a family kind of thing, or you feel you make friends in the community, something that can bring your followers together as well.
What advice would you give to fellow creatives? It doesn't have to be people that are new to being very creative. It can be someone who's been doing it for years, but what advice would you give to them?
So I would say, especially in the age of social media, and there's bandwagons and trends, create the art that makes you happy, that art that you love, even if it's just for the time being, because I know that a lot of artists, even myself, I look back at things I made years ago and I just I hate it, but at the time I loved it and I thought it was the best. And I think that's something important that we should all kind of have you love the art that you make now, but obviously not too cocky or narcissistic about your work.
So basically kind of shout yourself out on different platforms, tell everyone what your ats are, and also kind of give a brief explanation of what your biggest creative dream is, so that everyone knows what you're kind of about.
So my socials, my TikTok, my Instagram and my Pinterest are all the same, Sketchbook of Shadows. My others are a bit different because of character limits, but my Redbubble is Shadow Sketch, and my Twitter is SBOS_ because character limits as well for usernames. My biggest dream would probably be to have a Patreon page if I grew my following to that point of people who would voluntarily to support me. And I would like to, kind of have a small business very similar to Bailey J. I look up to her. She's kind of living the life that I want to live, in my opinion. But I love her so much. My goal is to be like her.